everyone, and welcome to episode 60 of the Knitty Heather podcast. My name is Heather, and I'm coming to you from Kent, Washington, up here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. This is my podcast where I talk about all of my knitting adventures and everything I'm working on. I always love to share my finished objects and works in progress, and I also love to shout out and feature amazing makers such as yarn dyers, pattern designers, and makers of other yarny accessories. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I'm very happy that you found me and I hope you enjoy yourself. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I truly appreciate it. If you would like to follow me, I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram and I would love to connect with you there. All of the yarn and patterns and accessories I talk about will be listed and linked in the description box below. Today is Sunday, May 28th, 2023, and I have a lot to tell you about, so let's get started. Today I am wearing my Finding Grace shawl by Grace Made Designs on Ravelry. I recently tested this pattern for her, and it's a lovely triangle shape with the lace edge and different texture patterns throughout different sections of the shawl. This is a 3-color shawl using fingering weight held double. The colorways I used were Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy in the colorway Blue Ink is the blue. And then I used Hazel Knits, their 80/20 base in the colorway Husk and Henna. Such a fun knit. This was an absolute pleasure to knit up. Because you do hold the fingering weight double, I used a size 9 needle and it worked up very, very quickly. I definitely would be very happy to test knit for Grace again. This is a very warm, beautiful, comfy shawl, very wearable design. Check out the Finding Grace shawl by Grace Made Designs on Ravelry. Next, I would like to tell you about some acquisitions. Last month, I had the pleasure of visiting my aunt and uncle and cousins in Stanton, Virginia, and there just so happened to be a lovely, cute little yarn store right very close to where they live in Fishersville, Virginia. So I got to go to Susan's Yarn Stash. This is what her logo looks like. And I was able to pick up 2 beautiful skeins of Emma's yarn. They don't really have a colorway name. This is her February 2023 Yarn of the Month colorway. And this is her March 2023 Yarn of the Month colorway. And I think they're gonna go together very beautifully. I don't know what I want to make with it yet. If I want to do like a 2-color hat or 2-color cowl or 2-color shawl. Let me know in the comments below, what would you make with these 2 beautiful colors? The purple speckles in this skein really do pick up the purple of this more tonal skein, and I really like how that looks. I have not had the pleasure to knit with Emma's yarn yet, but a lot of my knitting friends really love it, and I'm excited to use it someday in the near future. This is such a beautiful combination, and I highly recommend you check out Emma's yarn. I believe she's a very talented young indie dyer, and a lot of people really like what she has to offer. Also, if you ever happen to be in the Stanton or Fishersville, Virginia area, please check out Susan's Yarn Stash. Now on to my finished objects. I have 3 finished pairs of socks to show you today. The first is my May Desert Vista Dye Works socks. This is in the colorway The Brady's. This turned out to be such a beautiful colorway. I don't think I had these cast on last time I've podcasted. It's been a little while. So I have these completely finished. I love these bright colors, which I thought were just perfect for May. I started with a Sparkle Mini from her 2019 prize pack for completing her monthly sock club. And then I did the Pinstripe Socks by Julia Swart, who is We Sheep Knits. I'll maybe turn so you can see it a little bit better. There's just a few beautiful lines of some slip stitches, which really helps to show off a self-striping yarn. I did these toe up starting with the mini, worked up the foot. I did do a fish lips kiss heel on these and continued up the leg before I did about 15 rounds of a 2x2 rib for the cuff. Like I said, this was such a beautiful, bright colorway to work with for the month of May. And this is just a simple 2-round repeat that really worked up quite quickly. You could knit it toe up or cuff down. And I just think they're so beautiful. This is the Pinstripe Socks pattern by Julia Swart, We Sheep Knits, knit up in the Brady's by Desert Vista Dye Works on her 7525 Viso base. Next is a plain vanilla sock. This colorway is called Mary's Virtue, and it is by Lolo Did It from her Downton Abbey collection that she started in May of 2020. This was actually the first yarn that she put out for that club, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. It's so beautiful. It knit up very, very nicely. All of the speckles are very evenly distributed. Absolutely loved it. And I love how this dark kind of cranberry color sets off the rest of the speckles in the colorway. Such a beautiful job dyeing this skein. Absolutely love this colorway. This is a plain vanilla sock. I knit cuff down. I did about 14 rounds of a 2x2 rib, and then I did just one plain round in the contrasting mini so that there'd be a nice clean break. I did about 15 rounds down the leg of plain stockinette. I did another fish lips kiss heel, another 50 rounds down the foot, and a rounded toe. I am very anxious to start wearing these. I just think this is such a beautiful colorway, and I am the type of person, I wear wool socks all year round. I don't care if it's June or July. I just love wearing them. They're very cozy, and I'm excited to have a beautiful new pair of vanilla socks to add to my sock drawer. The pattern I followed was the Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, cuff down with a rounded toe, and I am extremely pleased with how they turned out. This is the Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in Lady Mary's Virtue by Lolo Did It. My last finished object is one more pair of socks. This pair I knit for a friend. This time I followed the Vanilla Socks on 9-inch circulars by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. Just a very good general sock pattern. I did do a slip stitch heel flap and gusset with the contrasting mini, and I also used the mini for the toe. This colorway is the Peony Sock Set by Legacy Fiber Arts. Really love this. It was on their Steel Toes 7525 sock base. I did 20 rounds of a 2x2 rib in the main color for the cuff. I did about 20 rounds down the leg to make them a little bit shorter. My friend has sort of small feet, and I don't think she wanted anything too long. So I did about 20 rounds down the leg, and then started the slip stitch heel flap and gusset, continued down the foot, and did the rounded toe that she calls for in the pattern. I love how this colorway worked up as well. So beautifully dyed. I just am very, very in awe of these people that can get such beautiful speckles so evenly distributed throughout their dye pan. It's just such a gift, such a talent. I'm very impressed with those wonderful dyers that can do such things. This is the Vanilla Socks on 9-inch circular pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in the Peony Sock Set colorway by Legacy Fiber Arts. Now on to my works in progress. I have a few pairs of socks that I just started one that I am a little bit further along on, and 2 baby blankets to share with you, which are both new cast-ons. Here is my first new pair of socks. This is just the beginning of a toe-up vanilla pair of socks. This cute strawberry cream popsicle progress keeper is from Sweet Cherry on Etsy. And I am housing this project in my shark project bag from Sock Week last summer from Stitching Plaza on Etsy. Super cute drawstring. The colorway I'm using for these socks is called Happy Valley. This is on Knit Picks Hawthorne 80/20 base. It's a really good, hardy, heavy wearing sock base, and I really love the other pairs of socks I have knit up in Hawthorne. As you can see, I have the toe and just about 10 rounds up the foot done so far on this. I am using 32-inch ChiaoGoo red lace needles for magic loop. And I think I will eventually do a fish lips kiss heel for this. So a vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel. But I really love how this colorway knit up. I've had this caked up in my stash for quite a while, and since it was already caked up, it was that much easier to just grab it and cast on for summer sock camp last Friday. So I can't wait to continue knitting up the foot and starting that fish lips kiss heel before I continue up the leg into my cuff. This is the beginning of a vanilla sock knit toe up on magic loop, and it will eventually have a fish lips kiss heel. Knit up in the colorway Happy Valley on Knit Picks Hawthorne. My next work in progress I have in my Summer Sock Camp 2021 bag by Stolen Minutes on Etsy, and I have my Summer Sock Camp 2021 pin from the Crazy Sock Lady Designs shop on Etsy. I always love using this bag every summer, and I decided it would be perfect to house my next Summer Sock Camp cast on, which is a pair of vanilla socks that I am starting cuff down this time. I am following the Vanilla Socks on 9-inch Circulars pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. This colorway is called Team USA by Knitted Wit on her 80/20 Victory sock base. And I love how it is spiraling with the white and then kind of the red and blue mixed. I am very curious. I just finished 20 rounds of 2x2 rib for the cuff, and so I'm very curious to see if when I get down to vanilla stockinette, if it will continue doing that or if it'll look different somehow. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna knit up, but I love how it's looking so far. Very fun. This red, white, and blue Rocket Pop popsicle stitch marker is from a Yarnable box by Hypnotic Yarn a few years ago. And I am using my ChiaoGoo red lace 9-inch circulars. Cuff down. I did finish my ribbing for the cuff, so I am ready to start knitting plain vanilla down the leg. I think I will do maybe 40 or 50 rounds down the leg, and then I will do the slip stitch heel flap and gusset that she calls for in the pattern. And this will be very nice. Hopefully I can get these done by the 4th of July. We will see. This is a pair of vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in Team USA by Knitted Wit on her Victory sock base. My next work in progress is one that I am a little bit further along with, but I don't think I have shared it yet since I podcasted last. I have it housed in my sheep project bag from April 9 Designs on Etsy, and I'm using this cute little sheep progress keeper from Bump on a Hill on Etsy as a zipper pull. So this is a pair of DK socks. This is the DK Weight Vanilla Sock pattern by Kay Litton. Yes, I'm doing a lot of Kay's patterns right now. I guess I'm in the mood for vanilla, and with Summer Sock Camp coming, which she hosts, I don't know, I guess I'm just in in a crazy sock lady mood. We will see. But this is my progress. This beautiful progress keeper is a little pearl progress keeper from my friend Bethany, who is The Wandering Pearl on YouTube. Be sure to follow her channel. She does a great job with her videos. I did 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, about 30 rounds down the leg, and then a slip stitch heel flap. And I finished closing up the gusset. I think I have about 10 rounds or so left down the foot to knit before I do the rounded toe that she calls for in the pattern. I'm using size 3 ChiaoGoo red lace. These are 40-inch circulars. And I really love working this pattern on magic loop for sure. The one unique thing I am doing is I am holding fingering weight double to get DK. This beautiful colorway, which is split into 2 balls, is called Magic Potion by Crystal Sky's hand dyed. It was from her Witches and Wizard Harry Potter inspired club last year. And I really love how it looks in the cakes, and it's knitting up very beautifully. I do love making DK socks holding fingering weight double. It's just a good way to use up some more of those single skeins of fingering weight yarn. And I love my DK weight socks at night for sure. These are always my sleeping socks, but you can wear them in shoes too, especially in the winter. They're not so thick that you wouldn't be able to stuff them in most shoes, but I do like wearing these in bed at night. Here's one more look at the colorway in the cake. I just split this cake into 2 50-gram balls. And one more look at how it is knitting up so far. I'm very excited to finish this first sock soon, and then hopefully cast on the next one very shortly. This is the DK Weight Vanilla Sock Pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. Knit up in Magic Potion by Crystal Sky's hand dyed on her 75-25 Ragdoll fingering sock base, held double to get DK. Last, I would like to show you 2 baby blankets that I have recently cast on. I have 2 little baby boys that will be joining my family this summer. This first blanket is for my new nephew to be born this summer. I have it in my Forest Creature large project bag from Bags by Awesome Granny. I am doing the Garter Chevron blanket by Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expat. And here it is so far. You can see it's starting that chevron shape. The yarn I am using is Knit Picks Comfy Worsted, and the colorway, I just finished using my first ball of Honey, and then after Honey will come Pea Pod, and then after Pea Pod will come Celestial. And then after Celestial will be Silver Sage. And then my last color is Carrot. So here are all 5 of them together. I think it's gonna look so cute. So each stripe should theoretically be twice as long as this currently is. I did 30 rows and basically used up my whole first 50-gram balls of honey. I do have 2 of these balls of each color. And so I'm approximately going to do 60 rows of each color, which I think will turn out nicely. This pattern works up very nicely. It's a very easy and memorizable 2-row repeat, and it's easy to read your knitting. She does suggest placing stitch markers, so I have done that, just to kind of make sure you're on track. And I do have another cute sheep progress keeper from Bump on a Hill on Etsy as my progress keeper for this project. So I'm excited to add more of this yellow honey color and then continue on with stripes of all the other colors. I think this will be very soft. It's a very loose, very drapey gauge. I'm using size 10 needles, which is what the pattern calls for. And these are my Addi Turbo Lace needles. I think these have a 32 inch cord, so plenty long. I don't feel like the stitches are too jammed on this or anything like that. So I'm happy with this setup and I'm excited to continue working on this. This is the Garter Chevron Blanket by Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expat. Knit up in Knit Picks Comfy Worsted. My last work in progress I'd like to show you is my other baby blanket. This one is for my cousin's baby boy who is due right around the same time my nephew is, toward the end of August. Super excited to have these beautiful baby boys joining the family. I have this one in my Sloth bag by Quilt Knit Craft on Etsy. And of course I had to add a little sloth progress keeper by Simply Serving on Etsy as a zipper pull. How cute is that little guy? So this blanket is a little bit different. This is the Encore Worsted Sampler Afghan by Plymouth Design Studio. And I'll see if I can insert a picture of it here. It has beautiful sections. It's a sampler blanket, so it has beautiful sections of different stitches, all in the same color. I finished this garter border and the first sort of garter ribbed section. The last thing I did were a couple divider rows of garter stitch before I start the next stitch pattern, which is going to be kind of a basket weave. The yarn I'm using for this project is also Knit Picks Comfy Worsted, which is a cotton acrylic blend, perfect for babies, very, very washable. And this colorway is Honeydew. This is what I have left of my first ball after having knit this much. I'm extremely excited to keep working on this as well. I'm using 40-inch ChiaoGoo red lace needles, size 7 is what this pattern called for, and I like the gauge I'm getting. I'm excited to continue working this up. I really love the idea of a sampler blanket so that you don't get too bored of the same stitch for an entire blanket. I really hope my cousin and her baby boy are going to love this so much. This is the Encore Worsted Sampler Afghan by Plymouth Yarn Design Studio. Knit up in Knit Picks Comfy Worsted. Well, I think that's about all I have for you this episode. Thank you so much for joining me and spending a little bit of time with me. I truly do appreciate it. Please don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing. That would really mean so much to me. I enjoy working on these little videos and communicating with you all through YouTube. As always, if you have any feedback for the podcast, please feel free to leave a comment below or message me on Instagram. I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram and I would absolutely love to hear from you. But until next time, be well, be kind, and happy knitting. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.